Howdy, hot shots. It's the Dividend Daddy, your favorite, not a financial advisor with not financial advice. So I'm here today to talk about stop losses. All right. Somebody on the channel yesterday said they had a stop loss for ULTY set at 612, and that if it got triggered, that they would just buy it back cheaper later. And in my opinion, that means that you believe that if it goes down to your strike price for your stop loss, that it's going to keep going down. And I had made the comment that my fear for doing that myself, everybody has to make their own decisions. If you're going to make the bet, you got to do the vet, all right? But my fear is that I would just get stopped out and it would go right back up, which I've seen ULTY do multiple times in the last few weeks, where it drops to a low and then bounces right back, okay? And so I wake up this morning and to my surprise, ULTY's low had been 6.1192, so just under that 612. And I'm sure this person is an experienced investor, and they set their stop loss at a place on the charts where they believed if it went to that point that it would go down lower. What I have learned is over the years is that these institutional buyers and quote smart money, as if they're smarter and don't just have more information and more money to play with, actually search out those stop losses, so they know what investors have been taught about charts and where those stop losses will be set, and they go and liquidate those positions, and then we'll turn the stock right around and move it back up, okay? And so my concern is that I'll get stopped out and that it goes right back up to where it was before, which is kind of what happened last night. It closed at 6.1192, and now this morning it's already back up to 619. Now, whether it's going to go up from here or whether it does go back down, obviously I don't know for sure. I would assume that it's still going to bounce around. Maybe there's a chance that somebody who got stopped out at 615 or something like that can get back in at 615. But it's not as big of a concern. I do like to buy on red days. In fact, when I woke up this morning and I saw that ULTY was at 615 pre-market, I bought another 100 shares. Okay. And if the stock is down 1% or something like that, if I have to pay 1% more, it's really not that big of a deal to me at this point. I do want to maximize my yield, and so I buy it when I see it's at a lower price. I add to my position, but it's not that big of a deal to me if I have to pay an extra 5 or 10 cents for it, because I feel like I'll just get that back within a week or two from the distributions. So it's with a stock that has, or an ETF that has such a high yield and such a high distribution rate, it doesn't matter to me if I pay an extra percent or two as much as it would a stock that I was just planning on getting some appreciation from, because I feel like I'll be paid back for that premium within a few weeks, and then I'll be in the green. So that is one benefit to buying something that has such a high distribution rate, in my opinion, is that you don't have to focus 100% on the price or your timing. If you got in at the best price, if I pay an extra few cents for a share, I'm just going to get it back in the dividend and the distribution in short order. And so that comforts me a little bit, whether that's just a psychological game I'm playing with myself or whether it actually is true and comes to fruition. I can't tell you that. I'm just telling you my experiences and what I'm doing. So I have some shares that I bought at 640 because I thought, well, if it keeps going up, I don't want to miss out on it. I want this gigantic yield. And so that was kind of at the top of what its range has been recently. And so I'm down a couple percent on those shares. Now I have cost average down by buying at 625 and 622 and 620 and 618 and 615. But I also am getting a distribution. So this Friday, I should be getting a couple $100 in distribution from ULTY now that they came out with their dividend or distribution, I should say, for the week of being 10.02 cents, I think. So just like the last couple of weeks, it's hovering right around 10 cents, okay, 10 cents a share. So I paid $6.15 a share for shares today, and I'll get 10 cents on Friday. I'll get 10 cents the following Friday, assuming the distribution rate is the same, because I believe today is their ex-dividend date. And so shares traded today won't get that 10-cent distribution for this week, which is probably why the shares were trading lower pre-market this morning and lower yesterday after the market closed, because they knew they weren't going to be getting the distribution this week. So that is one reason why you'll see a dip. The shares were about $6.25 yesterday, the last time I looked. And then when I woke up, I saw it had dipped down as low as just under $6.12 and was back up to $6.15. And right before I made this video, it was $6.19. So when it trades ex-dividend, your fund is going to go down by the price of that distribution. Okay, so don't be alarmed when you see that happen. But market fluctuations could override that. So even if you have a distribution of 10 cents, if the market is on a tear that ex-dividend date, even though the fund's value has been reduced by 10 cents, the market price could actually overtake that 10-cent dip. So it's not a bad idea to wait for ex-dividend day to buy shares. It means that it's going to be a couple extra days before you get your next distribution, because you have to wait for the following week. But it also means that you might be getting a discount on the shares. However, that can easily be negated by the market fluctuations for the day. So you just have to decide what your priorities are, okay? And for me, I'll buy ULTY any day of the week, okay? But I have noticed that you can get a little bit better deal on ex-dividend date if you are inclined to wait for that and think that the market isn't going to go up enough to outrun that dip from the distribution. So anyway, I don't have a stop loss on my ULTY. I'll do a video about ways to hedge. One of which is a stop loss. Okay, but I have gotten stopped out of stocks multiple times before, because those institutional investors and hedge funds and big money investors know where those stop losses are, and they absolutely will go and liquidate that pool of investors who have stop losses set just to get those shares at a lower price. They will sell shares to force it down to that price. They will liquidate those positions, and then they won't sell them, and it'll pull the stock right back up to where it was right before they ran those stop loss pool of money there. So I hope because it was after market, this guy didn't get stopped out of his position. And if he did, I hope he gets it back at a better price within a few days, because like I said, I'm not as concerned with these small fluctuations as I am this giant distribution rate. So I don't mind if the shares go down to 610, as long as they do bounce back. I don't want them to go to 610 and then go to $6 and then go to $5.90 and keep moving down, because I don't want that principal to get eroded. Okay, but I don't mind small fluctuations. So if we can stay between the 6 and 640 range and still get an 80% distribution, that is all right with me, and it's all right with GAG, and we'll have our Pall Malls and cheap vodka, and we'll just have ourselves a party.